Hello, my name is Nicole Salas, and my story relates to the Barbie movie and how it reflects the experience of being a woman in society. To start, I'll be discussing some important concepts that should be kept in mind throughout the rest of the story's presentation. Then, I'm going to summarize the basic plot of the Barbie movie, so spoiler alert. I'll try my best to not really fully spoil the movie. After a little while of summarizing, we'll be focusing on one specific part of the movie and what it reveals about our society and its individuals. So, this is what to expect. Three important ideas to keep in mind are social categorization, stereotypes, and social dominance orientation. The first is social categorization, with the given definition from the textbook being the natural cognitive process of placing individuals into social groups according to their social categories. In the case of our movie here, the social categories of focus are men versus women. The stereotype concept is defined as the positive or negative beliefs that we hold about the characteristics of social groups. Stereotypes can potentially be harmful and damaging to groups, and oftentimes for women, it is harmful and degrading. Some common stereotypes about women are that they are too emotional, they are less capable than a man, and the list continues on. Another idea to take into account is social dominance orientation, which is defined as a personality variable that refers to the tendency to see and to accept inequality among different groups. This can vary person to person. As said before, it's very personality based. And on a scale, someone with a high social dominance orientation indicates someone who would view certain social groups as superior or inferior, and they find that justifiable and okay. Someone with a low level would have the flipped ideas of those values. So, next is a brief rundown of the movie and the context of the story. So, it starts in Barbie Land, where the Barbies are the women and the Kens are men. Here, all of the effects of patriarchy in our real world are flipped in Barbie Land. The Barbies rule the Supreme Court and are more casually and easily the top successes in their field. Everything is perfect every day for the Barbies, but when stereotypical Barbie starts showing some strange symptoms, her and Ken take a trip to the real world, more specifically, Los Angeles, California. This experience is a rude awakening for Barbie, though, since she thought Barbies had created a world where women are equal and capable of anything. The movie then includes scenes portraying how our society typically views women, and when we think of it from a social psychological view, it's really insightful. One of the first scenes is set once Barbie and Ken arrive to LA. As they rollerblade through the Santa Monica Beach area, Barbie spots a billboard sign and points to it. She comments on how they have a picture of the Supreme Court. When it pans to the advertisement, we see just a photo of the Miss Universe contestants in line wearing bikinis, which is the photo on the left side of the screen. At this point, Barbie is still clueless into the real reality of how society views women in the real world. The scenario paints the hard picture of how much women are very over-sexualized and their worth lies on their body, and they are compared to other women at the same time in their body. It's no conspiracy that men often are the ones in power and historically have created systems and societal ideas about women that still linger today and have very degrading and harmful effects. The next experience to discuss, shown in the Barbie movie, is still in this initial part of when Barbie and Ken arrive to Los Angeles. While skating down the cement pathway, they receive glares, and more specifically, Barbie receives catcalls, whistles, and remarks that she even describes it as she feels ill at ease and as if there is a strong undertone of violence. Ken is also being catcalled, but it's important to note that he remarks that he feels more of an ego boost, and that he feels admired by the people. Sadly, this is relatable to our present reality, and not too long after this little conversation between Barbie and Ken, a man even smacks Barbie on her behind like she is just a piece of meat. She is offended and defensive that someone invaded her space, as she should be, so she turns around and, to her dismay, clocks him in the face. This man exhibits someone who would have a high social dominance orientation regarding his views of women versus men. To have the notion that his behavior is okay, he thought to himself, this behavior is okay, is in part due to a long-standing societal view that men are superior to women, therefore they are able to act as they so please because they are in a position of power. Moreover, this power disparity between men versus women also inflicts the idea that women's jobs and purposes are to serve men, since they are the more powerful and hierarchical group. This is not a new trend, and there has been a long history of unequal views between men and women, as well as stereotypes that restrict women in society. To conclude, it is blatant that we do not have gender equality achieved quite yet in our society, and it will take a while until then. I am a woman myself, and I found that the experiences shown in Barbie's story were pretty relatable and realistic. We discussed only a small snippet of the movie, but it really does a lot more with shining light on issues regarding society's view of women, and more specifically men's view of women. Stereotypes insinuating women are too emotional to be competent or intelligent, and maybe not strong enough to compete with men in sports. These contribute to why women's chances for getting a job, for example, are smaller than a man's opportunity to receive that job. When the world is telling you that you exist for men and your existence is less purposeful or valuable, then your self-esteem can be harmed as well. The social category of being a woman is just an example of one marginalized social category with stereotypes that contribute and justify discrimination in the eyes of those in power. Even though Barbie is just one movie and it's meant to kind of be a little more cutesy, it is much more for a lot of women out there who watch the movie because it captures the many stories and experiences numerous women share. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening to my presentation and the story of Barbie.